Alright, let's talk some more about Assassin's Creed. With Assassin's Creed 3, the story moved to colonial times in America, specifically the Revolutionary War. Desmond comes to the US in search of the Grand Temple that he finds out about in the last Assassin's Creed 2 sequel. Desmond uses the Animus to jump back into another ancestor, Radohengado. Radohengatun, and apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, I'm doing my best with the pronunciations in game. He is from a Mohawk village that is located just outside this Grand Temple that Desmond is looking for. And it also happens to be something the Templars were looking at in the past, including a Templar named Haytham Kenway. Haytham, as it turns out, is Radohengadun's father. In fact, at the very beginning of the game, you play as Haytham, and the game leads you to believe that he's actually one of the assassins when it turns out he's not. And it sort of ends with the twist that actually everything you were just doing as him was in service of the Templar. Radohengadun encounters Achilles Davenport, who was the leader of the American cell of assassins. And Achilles agrees to train him and mentors him. He also gives Radohengadun the English name of Connor, specifically after Achilles' late son. So you might see him referred to a lot as Connor Kenway because of both the name that Achilles gave him and his father's last name. However, these names are really just disguises. Throughout the game, you'll deal with issues surrounding the growing Revolutionary War. A lot of the Templar are against the revolution. I should note the card Restart Sequence also features Connor from this game. And Radohengado and his father Haytham will face off over time, occasionally work together, until finally, at the end, he's forced to kill his father. Meanwhile, all of this leads Desmond to the Grand Temple, where he can protect humanity against these solar flares that are going to destroy civilization and possibly wipe us out. But in order to activate the defenses, he has to risk letting Juno out. Now, I should note real quick, the Isu weren't able to save themselves because their defenses weren't done yet, and they've sort of been automated, and there's like a patchwork system of defenses that Desmond is able to activate that the Isu weren't able to have in time. In any case, Juno, the Isu consciousness basically in a computer, she's basically an AI version of this Isu. In order to save humanity, she has to be let loose. She's not a big fan of humanity, though. But that's a later problem, because Desmond dies. After Assassin's Creed 3, we get a bunch of games without a true modern-day protagonist. On the PSP, we got Assassin's Creed Liberation, which stars Aveline de Grandpré. She is an assassin from French Louisiana, around the same time as Connor. She is a biracial black woman in this time in Louisiana, but she comes from wealth and privilege, although she is trained by, I believe it's a Haitian member of the Haitian assassins. Her stepmother, who is very loving and doting, is also one of the leaders of the Templar in French Louisiana. So her story is sort of all about navigating both of her heritages and where she's going to land. She's also a contemporary with Connor, and there is a DLC for Assassin's Creed 3 where Aveline is part of that story, and the two of them meet. Eagle Vision also features Aveline, using the sixth sense that some of the assassins have. Then we move on to Black Flag, which is the first next-gen Assassin's Creed game. It features a conflict surrounding the Isu Observatory, that's this thing on the map here. Namely, an ancient Isu artifact that, with a drop of someone's blood, can locate them anywhere in the world. Obviously, that's a significant amount of power for the Templar, an organization that is extremely authoritarian. The modern-day frame of this story is that you are a new employee at Abstergo Entertainment, and you are tasked with following the memories of Edward Kenway, a assassin and pirate from the early 18th century. If the name sounds familiar, it's because Haytham is his son, which also means Radohengadun is his grandson. Now, at this moment in time in the modern day, you no longer need to be directly related to a person to view memories in the Animus. They just need a DNA sample. And so Abstergo Entertainment is pulling a lot of DNA samples and secretly doing the same kind of research they were doing with Desmond before. So you get caught up ostensibly going through the memories in order to create a new video game using Animus technology. But in reality, your bosses want to know where that observatory is too. Edward gets captured along with Adewale, who becomes his first mate on a ship they capture, the Jackdaw. Edward finds some assassin's gear, but he doesn't really subscribe to them until much later, as does Adewale. Eventually, though, he links up with the assassins and learns of what exactly is going on, and that there are things bigger than himself that he should be worrying about here, and becomes an assassin himself. In truth. Tranquilize features him using a blow dart here. And the Crystal Skull is a device that allows that Isu Observatory to work. Now, the conflict here is around Black Bart Roberts. Turns out Black Bart is what is called a sage, a human being born with like partial Isu DNA that is the reincarnation of the ancient Isu Eta, which is important and notable because Eta was Juno's husband, and so she's looking for a way to bring him back, and he's looking for a way to bring her back. As Edward, you're able to stop his plot. But in the present, Juno gets what she needs from Abstergo Entertainment, and then promptly leaves in a cliffhanger that's resolved in a comic books because the games ignore that plot point from then on. At the same time Black Flag came out, Assassin's Creed Rogue came out for last-gen consoles, or maybe a little after. This is basically a very similar experience. There's a lot of ship-to-ship combat. However, this takes place between Black Flag and Assassin's Creed 3, so mid-18th century. Shay is an assassin in Achilles Davenport, American assassin cell, but a mission to Madrid results in this massive calamity that kills thousands of people, and Shay has second thoughts about the assassins and joins the Templar, and his job is to wipe out his old cell. So he's the reason Achilles is the last one standing of the American assassins by the time of Assassin's Creed 3. He also kills Adewale. Adewale also got his own DLC in Black Flag called Freedom Cry, which is about the Maroon Rebellion in what is now Haiti. So yeah, Shay sucks. Note that he's a knight here because all the Templars are knights because they are Knights Templar. Also note that this Isu reincarnation as a human thing will be relevant again later. And that with Rogue and for the next few games, there is not really a protagonist or a modern day story at all. You are either a person playing one of the games of Abstergo Entertainment and someone like hacks your system and starts, like, an assassin starts telling you the truth about what's going on. Modern day stuff is very, very vague. Very little of it, again, until the Origins games, which we'll get to in a minute.